What's going on, Wolfman fans? Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Before we get started, I'd like to say that this video is not intended for anyone under the age of 18 because apparently that matters that I say that now. Even though I believe my channel is age restricted, I set it up that way. And also, I curse and smoke and promote what is typically deemed to be right-wing propaganda. So, you go. But I just wanted to tell you guys, let you guys know that before we get started. So, yeah, it's been a while since I've been on here. It's been a while since I made a video, and the very specific reason for that is, these are just my opinions on everything. Government, social things, politics, whatever. These are my opinions. And what are my opinions? What are my opinions worth to you guys? They're no more worth anything that, than your own opinions are. So, plus it's not like I'm giving you guys late breaking news or early breaking news. I'm not giving you anything you probably didn't already know and that like 30 other channels aren't already covering. I'm just giving you my opinion on stuff we already know about. I'm not giving you guys any kind of crazy information. I just look at things from a very simple, logical standpoint. And at the same time, I'm not even putting out a really high quality produced video. I've tried this, that, and the other to try to make it happen. Point blank, I just don't have the equipment or the money to make that happen. So this is what I do. I'm just here on my phone. And that's just the way it is. But I guess that'll suffice, especially for what I'm about to say. And I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people out there who are going to disagree with me. And that's okay. We can disagree. That's the beauty of all this whole thing. We can all disagree about things, and we can still get along and move along with our lives. But here's where I know that there's going to be some pissed off individuals with me. This COVID-19 thing, the whole coronavirus thing. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that it isn't real. It is. But the fact is, we've known about it for the last, 30 some odd years. We've known about coronavirus. This is nothing new. And you know what? I have to ask myself, why is it just now a big issue? Oh, because it's a new strain. A new strain. How did that new strain happen? I'm not going to make any theories. I'm not going to put my theories out on here. I'm going to let you guys do the research. I'm going to let you guys look into the WHO and all that stuff. I'm going to let you guys do that. And I'm going to encourage you guys, as I always have. I encourage you to do your research and look into this stuff for yourself. But here's my thing. Everything that we have seen shows this virus, it's mostly affecting older people or people with or who are predisposed to how do I put this? They're immunocompromised already and predisposed to like respiratory illnesses. Okay. It isn't everybody. People like myself, I don't have asthma. I don't have problems with bronchitis, nothing like that. I'm not predisposed to it. I'm not immunocompromised, at least, as much as I can be by smoking, but that's about it. I'm going to guarantee that most all of y'all, let's see, out of my 122 subscribers, if one of you gets it, I would be surprised. If just one out of the 122 get coronavirus, get infected with it, I would be genuinely surprised. Hey, and if you're that one guy, or if maybe more, please let me know in the comments. Let me know if you guys know somebody personally, not heard about somebody, but know somebody personally that's had it. I would like to know, because I don't. So far, I've been told that we've had 2 cases in my town. And by the way, I live in a pretty small town, somewhere just over 1,300 people. not a big city at all. So, um, 2 cases. That's about it. And I don't know who these people are. I've never even been told a name of who these people are. So I don't know. But at the same time, from everything I've been hearing, how do I know that they didn't just have a cold, have the flu? Most of the symptoms that are COVID symptoms are the same symptoms that you would have if you had a bad head cold or just the flu. A lot of the same symptoms. And from what I understand, WHO has decided that if there's a possibility that it could be COVID, then it is. And that's how they're going to look at it. Look, I'm not going to get into any conspiracy theory, anything on this. You can draw your own conclusions on that. Do your research. You do you. But this is what I'm going to tell you. If you're still that guy that's walking around thinking you need a mask everywhere, you're doing more harm to yourself than you are good. Everybody else, you're not necessarily helping them or not helping them. Either way, the mask is not doing anything. I promise you, it's not helping you. And what else isn't helping? Staying inside, keeping your businesses shut down. You know what? My wife owns a small business. My wife is a small business owner, and she actually owns 2 businesses, kind of like 2 in 1. And I help her run them from time to time. One of them we were able to keep running, and actually it started because of this whole coronavirus thing. Because she's normally a hairstylist. She runs a salon. She couldn't keep running her salon. It was shut down. Now she has recently been able to reopen with limited capacity. You know, she can't. I think she's only allowed to have 25% of her normal customer volume, but her normal customer volume is always one. Because she's the only person working in her salon. She only usually has one client in there at a time anyway, so it's kind of continued that way. The only difference is now everything is even more heavily sanitized than it was, because honestly, salons and barbershops, they sanitize their stuff. Or at least they're supposed to by TDLC. They're supposed to sanitize their stuff heavily. But anyway, so things are even more heavily sanitized, and everybody's wearing masks. And they kind of look at me awkward because I'm working in the back. I'm not wearing a mask because I'm going to be honest. I don't believe that it's going to do anything. And I've heard people say, well, I trust the government. Why shouldn't I, go along? I don't trust the government. Why? Because I've worked for those dudes before. I don't trust them. I'm not ashamed of my past and the things I've done, not really, but I know how government can manipulate people. I know how government can lie to people. Excuse me, this calls for a second cigarette. There we go. But look, since when in the course of human history have we ever decided that the way to deal with a plague, epidemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, have we ever decided that the proper course of action was to quarantine the healthy and shut down the economy? I've been alive for 34 years, and through that time frame, we've had a lot of outbreaks of different diseases and such. We've had Ebola. We've had the anthrax scare that came out. We had, the old anthrax scare where they just thought you were going to pick it up from tainted meat. That one's way back. That was before they started mailing it off in envelopes, the powdered stuff. Anyway, we had H1N1, which I think that one was a swine flu, but then we had the bird flu. We never shut down businesses and quarantined people. Yeah, we may have been to the point where we weren't selling, eggs or something like that. We just kind of took certain precautions. But in this case, our precaution is shut down the economy, shut down all these businesses. Oh, and it's not even all businesses. Small, privately owned companies, yes. And restaurants, yes. But who stayed open? Oh, that's right. Walmart stayed open. Target stayed open. Big stores like that stayed open. And you can argue all day long, well, man, it's necessary because people got to get their, groceries and stuff somehow. Amazon's a thing, people. And Amazon has been doing the whole no contact thing. I mean, they've been doing that since before we started this. They'll drop the package on your doorstep. And then you can sit there and sanitize the outside of the box and sanitize everything as you break it down into whatever the item is. You can do that. You don't even have to get out of your house. Self-quarantine if you want. But I'm going to just say, if you think that the best idea to fix this whole thing is to shut down all the businesses and keep everybody at home, especially these small businesses, where they have built these businesses off their own blood, sweat, and tears in many cases, and have come to rely on that business to support their family. They don't have like a second job that they're going to fall back on. My wife, God love her, she came up with a plan that worked for her. Not everybody had that option. There's a lot of people, some people around here who run food trucks. Food trucks are a real popular thing nowadays. They couldn't be open. There were some restaurants that somehow skated around all the rules that they had put in place by opening a food truck for their restaurant. But what's weird is the other food trucks were not open. They couldn't be open. It made no sense to me. But anyways, I just don't understand it. And you still have people online screaming about, hey, stay home, stay safe. If we reopen, everybody, this is gonna get worse, and hundreds of people are gonna die. No, they won't. I promise you, they won't. Go out there and don't be rubbing up against people needlessly, breathing on them. Wash your damn hands, and we should be okay. This damn epidemic, pandemic, whatever, it's not going to be the end of the world. And if you are generally a healthy person, you're not going to have anything to worry about. I mean, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, 100%. I will take my chances getting this. So what? I'll be laid up for a few days? I don't care. Take a break from life for a few days, whatever. I mean, yeah, I'll have a headache and I'll cough and sneeze. I'll get over it. This virus that has a 99.98% survival and recovery rate. Come on. But we're scared of it. Hell, the Ebola isn't even as contagious as this thing is, supposedly. And if they're dealing with something Ebola related, they're wearing a full hazmat suit. A little paper mask is going to protect you? Come on. Nothing about this whole thing adds up. And what's worse is when you have CNN putting together a town hall panel, and one of their experts for coronavirus is that same stupid little kid from freaking Sweden who they brought to the freaking, to the UN as a climate change expert. She's 16 or 17 now, I don't know. She's a kid. What? Why? This is a show, this is a stunt, guys. And if you're one of those people who are falling into the trap of thinking that, no, they're just trying to protect us and stuff, you need to think again. You need to look around you. You are not being protected. You're being controlled. And I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but never in the course of my 34 years of life, or from what I understand from the past, even the big Spanish flu epidemic way back in the day, the Spanish flu, They didn't quarantine the entire nation. They quarantined the sick. And that one has some dubious origins in and of itself, let me tell you. But again, they didn't quarantine the sick, or didn't quarantine the healthy. They quarantined the sick. You don't quarantine the healthy. You don't shut down economies around the world to protect the people. This is a exercise in control, okay? And if you're falling easily into it by saying we need to stay home and stay safe because I heard it on the news, I think you might have fallen for a ruse. I hate to tell you this. Get out, get back on with your life. Believe it or not, sunlight is healthy for you. Sunlight helps. Again, don't be rubbing up against people and breathing in each other's faces. That's unnecessary. Oh, which, by the way, amazing how many things shut down, but the New York subway system stayed open this whole time. I can't think of a bigger breeding ground for disease. I'm sorry. You pack that many people to get together in a small, tiny, cramped place for an extended period of time, and you expect that, and Walmart, and you expect these places to be, that's going to be the safety measure. That's going to be okay. But you going out and getting your hair cut, or whatever, just going shopping at a local boutique or whatever, is going to be dangerous. None of these safety measures are making any sense. And what's worse is there's people they've opened it back up in Texas. Thank God. People talk a lot of crap about that salon owner in Dallas and all the stuff that's gone on about that. And while I think that I don't 100% agree with her and what was going on, I will say this: it's brought a lot of attention straight from the governor's office that changed some things. No more arrests. We're not making arrests for this stuff. And we've started a phased opening, which, you know what? Fine. If we're gonna go with this, at least we're opening. Let's open it back up. So I'll give it that it started kind of a chain reaction there. But look, there's places that still, they've got public parks, they've got beaches, they've got all these things shut down and restricted. People can't go out and go fishing. I've never met a more solitary activity, for the most part, than fishing or hunting or sometimes even camping. Let's like level 100 social distancing is a random guy out in the middle of a lake on a boat fishing. He ain't doing nothing to nobody. But he's still going to get in trouble for it. There's still places doing that right now. And honestly, if you're a police officer, and don't get me wrong, I'm trying to go to the police force. That's another thing that's been going on since I've been kind of on a comms black here on this channel. I've been working my way to try to get to the police department. Unfortunately, because of COVID, everything's on hold right now. But it is what it is. If you're a cop and you're walking around enforcing this nonsense, there's a problem with that. I don't have any problem with enforcing safety, but when you are citing people, when you're fining people, arresting people just for being out in public, you really need to think again. What are you really enforcing? What kind of rule of law are you enforcing? This isn't American rule of law. That's not how we do things here. What's happening? What's going on? And God forbid, if you're one of these cops that beats somebody for not, and I've seen pictures of this. I don't know how true it is, but I'm going to go ahead and make it a blanket statement anyway. If you're a cop and you beat somebody for resisting arrest when you're arresting them for being out in a public place, and violating that city ordinance that nobody can be at the public park, you as a cop need to be arrested. You need to lose your badge and go to prison for assault. That's wrong. And don't get me wrong, I have a lot of police officer friends, and I love them all to death. And I personally have a lot of respect for police officers. I really do. But it's just like a soldier who goes to war overseas and just murders a random civilian. He could argue that, maybe he was an insurgent, maybe he was a terrorist, and we just don't know about it. Or maybe he was an innocent Iraqi or Afghan civilian. Maybe. And you just killed him. That's called murder, and you're taking your random authority of being or perceived authority, not even actual authority, perceived authority of being a soldier to a unlawful level. And the same happens with cops. So police officers, I'm sorry guys, you need to check yourself and check your own. Look, I've rattled on now for over 20 minutes. I think you guys get the point of what I'm saying. Let's stop being dumbasses. Let's stop buying into this government bullshit. I don't trust my government, and neither should you. You should question everything. Always question it. Go back to work. Go back to your lives. Support your local small businesses. Police, check yourself. Check your buddies. Don't infringe on the rights of the people. All right, that's all I got. Hope you guys have an awesome weekend, or I don't know, what day is it? It's Friday? Yeah. I hope you guys have an awesome day and go into an awesome weekend. As always, you guys keep your head on a swivel and stay awesome, and we'll see you later.